Hey everybody, and welcome to Godless Weekly for June 15th, 2021. I wanted to talk about branding this week and building a horror brand that's unlike anything else that's currently out there, which is what I'm aiming to do with Godless. So when I was in high school, I worked at this surf and skate shop called Sunshine House in Maryland. I worked there with my friends Liz and Chris and Calvin and Bob. And we would come in every day and we'd have to like pimp clothes and surfboards and snowboards and all that shit. But there was a skate counter at the back of the store, and it had this like lifted spot where everything would go back there, and they had like, you know, drill presses and all that shit where you could put like trucks on boards and stuff like that. It was really awesome when you went in. Like every week there'd be all these new boards, right? And you check them out and they just line the back walls, and all this just killer art, dude, that still holds up today. This new deck came in and it was Mike Valet, and it was his first barnyard deck, which was the first time anyone had done the double kick skateboard. Before that, in case your kids didn't know, there was only one back kick, and then it went straight at the beginning all the way to the front. This board came out, and it came out at the same time as this other board called the Double Vision, which also had that. I don't know which one was first. I'm going to say Valet because he's a better skater, and he's currently the singer of Black Flag, which is a big deal. So we would go in there, and you'd look at all these boards and all these colors, and it was like going into an indie record store, right? Because you just see all this cool shit, and it's overwhelming, and you're like, dude, I just want to buy that as art, which, you know, has become a trend now. Valet came out with this deck that was pretty unorthodox, right? And so when, you know, some kid came in with his mom and was like,
I want that new deck, I want that new skateboard, I want that Mike Valet deck.
So a kid would come in and say, hey, I want that board. And so, of course, this kid this week, you know, the first week of the new Valet Barnyard deck came in, got that. And it was our task to not only put the decks together, which I was always really shitty at to begin with, but we also had to cut the grip tape with the razor blade on top of the deck. You know, it was this unorthodox board that I wasn't used to. So I took the razor and I cut around, and I totally fucking botched the job, right? I mean, totally fucked it up and gave it to the kid. My boss at the store, the manager, who's also part owner, is this guy Blair Rhodes, comes back and he's just fucking furious. And he showed me the deck that I had just completely chopped all the paint all the way around the fucking sides of the deck. He's like,
what the fuck, dude? You really expect me to fucking sell this to them?
And so he comes back there all huffy and puffy, and he cuts the grip tape himself and gives it, you know, and I mean, he didn't ask me to pay for the fucking botched ass deck, but, you know, he was fucking pissed. So the next week he hired this guy named Ken Sprout, who came in and did like pretty much all the skate shit, except Bob did a lot of it too. And there's a reason that I'm explaining this, and I'll get to that in the video. I'm also gonna go into that new thing, Ask Godless, which I'm going to do one a week, I think, and I'm going to do Drew's conclusions, and I'm going to point out all the changes to the site and all the new stuff that we're doing that follows this kind of branding type thing. So
let's do this. Let's do this. Do this.
So the reason that I brought this up, and this is one of Mike V's companies. He is one of his former companies called Elephant Skateboards. Mike V, who is the deck that I talked about at the beginning of this. Well, this is actually an homage to Jeff Phillips, R.I.P., who was a skater from the 80s. Mike kind of like did this as like an homage to him and his legacy in skating. And I wanted to show that even in skating and punk rock and like all this shit, people brand themselves. And they come out with like a really colorful and popping brand that's going to get people to catch their attention, right? So when someone comes on godless.com, they're going to look at shit, and you've got like less than a second to grab their eye. So I'm kind of like talking with different people about like, let's create a brand around your series. Let's create a brand around you and kind of make something that is really eye-popping and really like gets people's attention, right? Because this kind of muddy and bloody cover thing with chainsaws and shit, it isn't working anymore, man, because it just blends in with all the other shit. So you got to come up with something really eye-catching. And I recommend, honestly, going into like an independently owned skateboard shop. There's got to be one near you, right? I think. or going into an indie record store and just like going around and looking at shit and checking out like what's kind of like, you know, new and what's catching people's attention and getting people's eye. That same principle of record covers and skateboard decks and merch that's based on these things, it applies the same way to horror books and horror book covers. If you've got a really striking book cover, it's going to get people's attention, right? And they're going to come into this and say, holy shit, I had less than a second look at that and that caught my eye. And that has a lot to do with the fact that Rain Havoc's Mukbang Princess is always so highly ranked on the Godless charts. It's because it's different, man. It's pink. Never saw a pink fucking horror book before. That's exactly it, right? So people fucking gravitate towards it. Their eyes gravitate towards that. It's about, she's done a really good job of branding herself and bringing herself to her audience because they know what to expect. And that's why if you notice from the changes I made to the site, not only did I put that search bar in there because Simon McHardy is a big fucking crybaby, but I also put like the original series right on the bottom of the feature promotions. That's why I've been begging you guys the past couple of weeks to create your own series and your own original property, right? Something that really makes it easy to relate to you and know who you are. I'm not saying that fucking sell out and don't do shit like you want to do it. You know, I'm not gonna rag on your fucking covers and shit, but I know what's fucking working, man. And it's this really kind of like branded new horror. It's different from anything we've seen before, and it's what people are responding to, and it's what people are buying, right? If they know something's in a series, they're gonna gravitate towards it. They're gonna fucking get into it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is my first segment of Ask Godless. And the question is from my boy Ryan Miller, or as we call him, Millsarilla Elvis. Okay, here's his question. When was your last visit to MMB? Okay, for those of you who don't know what MMB is, I used to make these videos where I had kind of stumbled across this amazing phenomenon. There's this bush that's kind of up by the Grove. It's a really long bush. It's up by the Grove in mid-city Los Angeles, and somehow, through some miracle, it started growing fruits that were shaped like malt liquor bottles and cans, like Steel Reserve and, you know, Four Loko and Colt 45 and, you know, all these great things. And so I did these videos where I kind of go up there every day and shoot them and just kind of walk across this bush and check out all these awesome fruits. So I do have an on-location segment, and I'll show that now. I'm going to tell you, Ryan, that I did not, and I have not, for the past week that I went back by there since you put this on my Facebook page, that there has not been one malt liquor fruit on the Miracle Malting Bush for a very long time. But I did do something special, and you can check it out in this segment. I'm going to do a Miracle Malting Bush prayer right now and give a donation of $1 to the bush. So hopefully when I come back next week, Miller, I'm going to start putting this in every episode. So hopefully when I come back next week, the Miracle Malting Bush will have bared its malt liquor fruits for me. I'm not going to cheat. I remember one time, like 4 years ago, I cheated, and Kurt Nally and John Pacific and a couple other people called me out on it and said I was bullshit. That's not true. Anyway, here's my $1 donation to the Malting Bush. Now, say this prayer with me and remember it, because we're going to probably have to be doing this for a while so people can get to see the Miracle Malting Bush in action. So put it in here, and the leaves right there. Close your eyes. Dearest Malting Bush, who I worship and love, I am hoping that this donation will help you produce the fruit of our land of malt liquor. I love you. Amen. So this is the Malting Bush. You know, during the high point of the Malting Bush, these leaves would be like filled with you know, like malt liquor cans and bottles. But like as I said, I wouldn't have done the donation and had to do the prayer had it been the other way around. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at here, folks? But yeah, it was really amazing. A lot of Steel Reserve, Colt 45, St. Ides, Four Loko strawberry, Four Loko watermelon, all the flavors that everyone loves. It's really amazing that a bush can produce something like that. But I mean, all in all, it looks really good. You know, it's healthy. It died for a long time. Oh, that really brings a tear to my eye. Hoping that $1 charitable donation to the Miracle Malting Bush is going to pay with fruit, because I'm going to go up there and get fucked up. As I talked about earlier, I've made some changes to the site, like I put in that search bar and I put in the brands and stuff like that. And I'm no longer going to do these like text-heavy emerging author, featured publisher, featured author things. Those are still going to be in the navigation, and we're still going to feature people. But I really want to focus on making this site look artistic and kind of like reminding myself of going into a skate shop and seeing all these boards, right? If you go to the Godless site right now, you see a bunch of eye-catching covers and illustrations and art, that shit that just is like, it sucks you in, man. It wants you to be a part of this, like, right? When I talk about brands, you know, you see this brand now, hopefully, you know that that's Godless. You know what that means. But anyway, check that shit out. And I'm going to run through some of the new titles this week, which I think you should be really excited about, because it's a big week. We've gotten to a point where enough new material is coming in that I don't have to really worry about like any kind of filler, right? I can just blast out all these new books and promote them properly. The first of these comes out today, and it is the 4th book in the fucking Scumbags Burn in Hell series. It is written by Lucy Leitner. It is called Karen. It is fucking amazing. You guys really have to fucking get this book. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sure you already know because it's posted on the site, that if you buy Karen for the next 2 days, that's Tuesday and Wednesday, you will get Outrage Level 10, also a book by Lucy Leitner, and the 3rd book in the fucking Scumbag series, The Poser, for fucking free. For 2 days. You gotta jump on this, man. Karen is going to blow your fucking mind. I'm giving people some copies beforehand, including the hype horde, and I'm hoping people are going to dig it as much as I did, and as much as Mark Chiccarone did. Everyone really likes it. Like, it just, Lucy nailed it. The second release this week is Simon McHardy's second Red Band short story, and it is called The Tank. Dude, if you want to read something really fucking gross, check this out. It is classic Simon. He has gone back to this Billy character that he had in Billy Pants Sniffer, and he's bringing him as a more or less a recurring character. That said, not every one of the Red Band books is going to feature Billy Panty Sniffer, but he is in the second one, and this has got to be close to, if not the grossest fucking book of the year. So if McHardy's your thing, then this is your fucking book, yo. About 2 weeks ago, my friend Sam at Weird Punk Books sent me Eric LaRocca's new book, and I put it on the site, but I didn't read it, and that was my bad, right? And so it's got this just fucking mesmerizing cover that's going to remind you of Clive Barker, but it's not. It's a real piece of art. And I should have known better, judging books by covers, which is kind of what I'm talking about today, to dive right into this. So I picked it up and I read it over the weekend. And I gotta say, I mean, this book, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, is fucking, it's so fucking good, man. I can't explain it to you anymore. Because A, I don't want to ruin it for you. And B, I don't want to overhype it, because it's very different from anything else that's really going on right now. And you know, I know Eric's kind of known for that, but this is a really special book. This is a really special book. And I said in the post that I just did today that it's like, I can't imagine that any other book is going to be better than that this year in horror, in indie horror specifically. It might even cross over to mainstream. It's that good, you guys. And you can get it at Godless, $1 cheaper than you can get it anywhere else. So I suggest you pick it up. If you want some good fucking horror, some awesome fucking writing, man, pick up this book. It'll blow your mind. I swear to you, I'm just not fucking saying this. There's a lot of buzz around this book, I know. but it's fucking true. And it's definitely fucking awesome. Also recently released on Godless was Matt Shaw's The Sickest Shit. And it is a 600-page fucking collection. And it is fucking gnarly. If you like Matt Shaw, you gotta pick this shit up. And it's going for $4.99, but I mean, dude, it's 600 pages. And then this book's gonna last you a week. Shaw's awesome. He's bringing a lot of unique exclusives to the Godless platform, and I'm hoping he's going to kind of turn this into a series. Matt, how about we do something called Matt Shaw Black, something like that? Bitchin'. I look forward to it, dude. I'm glad we're working together. Another Matt. It seems like there's so many Matts on the Godless site and so many Matts in horror right now, but that's cool, man. So this is by Matthew A. Clarke, and he has a book called Coffin Dodgers, which is this super kind of dystopian future, fucking weird, bizarro book. The cover caught my eye a long time ago when he started promoting it himself. And I know that he doesn't really dig this cover because I think he hired someone to make a new one, but you should check this out because this is exactly what I'm talking about with branding. He's got this cover that you just look at, and it's got this old man smoking a cigar, and it says Coffin Dodgers. It's really simple. It's on this kind of like more or less faded yellow cover, and it pops, and it's in your face. And you notice it like right fucking away, like it sticks out, and people are picking it up. And people should pick it up because it's funny as fuck, and it's also super bizarre. So man, good job, Clarke. I can't wait to see more of your shit too, dude. And another new release, if you can fucking believe it, dude. We're crushing it with all this new awesome shit, man. You gotta check some of this stuff out. This new emerging book is called Platinum Blondes, and it's by Todd Loveykin's Love. You should check it out. It's cool, it's unique, it's splatter. It's his first thing on Godless, and we're looking forward to getting more. So people are digging it, man. A lot of people like Todd as a person, and a lot of people like him as a writer too. He's got a very unique voice. Okay, this is Drew's conclusions. This week I'm going to talk about branding and coming to me with something that might not be totally polished yet, and me kind of coming at you and saying, hey man, can I take a pass at this? I don't mean to be offensive or step on feet or suggest outside of your creative vision, right? But I do kind of have my eyes in the back end of the site, so I know what is selling. So if I come to you and I say, dude, let's take this even further, right? I mean, look at Die You Fucking Cunt, that book that came out recently. It's by Sean Hawker, some Brit and I love. So he brings me this book. It was originally called The Captive Dwarf, I think, because he had to change the title for Amazon. And he brought it to me, and it had this like really kind of striking face image that he got for free online. And it had the text all over it. And I go,
yo, Hawker dude, Hawkman.
No one's ever called him that. Yo, Hawkman. So I said, yo, dude, let me take a fucking pass at this, because you're covering up what makes this cover pop and what's going to make it fucking sing with all that text over that face. And I just made the face the entire fucking cover, right? And at the bottom, the very bottom, it says the title, and it has Sean's author name on there. And so I put this thing on Godless, and it went with the original name, which is Die You Fucking Cunt, which is an awesome fucking name. I'm sorry you had to rename it for cheesy Amazon. I put it on there, and it's just this face. And you see this book with this face, and it looks like a skateboard deck. It actually looks a lot like a lot of Rob Roscop's like skateboard decks, which is just this big face on a fucking popsicle stick. So I took a pass at it, and I kind of put it in the site and got behind it a little bit. And people, obviously I couldn't get behind it with social media because it's called Die You Fucking Cunt. And people are responding to it because their eyes gravitate towards this just striking fucking book cover that looks like it's got a fucking head mashed into it, right? It's exactly what I'm talking about. It looks street art. It looks punk rock. It looks like a Blasters cover. It looks like a skateboard deck. it has all these elements, and you know, you don't have to go spend all this money on fucking illustrations and shit to have a book that's going to sell well on Godless, right? And I think Sean knew that, and he knew that going into it. This is just this fucking hilarious fucking cover that sticks out. It just booms in your eyes, and you want it. You want to know, what the fuck is this, and why is it fucking called that, right? So I think you need to think about that when you're going into cover design. And when you're branding yourself, you need to kind of look at things that are working on Godless. You know, obviously Rain's shit, and Simon McHardy's Red Band, and his Tasmanian series, and to some extent fucking Scumbags Burn in Hell, right? All this shit's branded together, so when people see it, they know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? They're like, oh wow, man, I know what this is. This is the new one. So you should check out Karen, by the way. It's fucking great. So last week I reached out to a friend of mine, Nikki Noir, who hasn't really participated yet in Godless, and I'm like, can I take a pass at building a brand around she's got a bunch of like short stories and novellas kind of like backed up, right? And she wants to know what to really do with them. She could go the traditional route and go to KDP, or just do things the way she was regularly doing them. And I'm like, let's build a brand that's specific for Godless, right? Let's do something completely fucking cool and unique that really speaks to it. So I took a pass at a name, which Nikki didn't like, my bad, and an overall brand design, which I'll show you right now. It looks like this. It's called Petit Moore. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not very good at Francois. But we did this, and we wanted to do something that was eye-popping and vector and really got people's attention, and kind of like showed who Nikki was and what these stories were about, right? And so we wanted that to be something that would pop in their face. And I've done some of these covers for her, and they've all got like this similar kind of motif. And we think it's going to be fucking great, and we can't wait to release them, because not only are these awesome fucking books, but they look the part. They look like skateboard designs, like, you know, Mike Vallely, sorry, his kind of like tribute to Jeff Phillips, or Christian Hossoy's famous decks, or all these things that if you go look at some of this traditional art and even the new skateboard deck, just check that shit out, man. It's important to check out, you know? It's also important to look at shit like Eddie from Iron Maiden and things like that when you're trying to think of your brand, you know? You don't want to do anything like really shitty. And, you know, I'm not saying that if you send me some cover that I'm going to fucking shit in your face, because I'm not going to do that. If something hits me right away, like it did with Die You Fucking Cunt, and I'm just like, dude, we gotta do something with this. I guarantee this is gonna fucking hit. And it did, because I saw what he was doing, and I kind of wanted to lend some of my skills to that, and kind of help him move forward on Godless, since this was his first book, you know, Sean Hawker, the Hawkman.
Hawkman!
So that's kind of what this is all about, man. I know, once again, because of these videos and these like final thoughts or Drew's conclusions always seem to be like very presumptuous. But I think you guys need to think about that, the evolution of indie horror and the direction that everything's going in. It's about more than just, you know, throwing a fucking saw blade and blood on a cover, or fucking some chick's tits, right? And, you know, I don't have a problem with that. Several people have asked me and sent me covers, you know who you are, so I'm not being a dick, and said, will you put this in the site? And I'll be like, fuck yeah, I'll put it in the site. Of course I will. But that doesn't mean I'm going to promote it, because I can't fucking promote it, right? I can't put that shit on social media. If it's got tits and knives and shit, dude, I'm not going to be able to put that on social media. You got to consider that. And when you're creating a brand, no matter if it's like a bondage brand or a Bizarro brand or whatever it is, man, you need to get some inspiration. And that's why I always kind of look to skating and punk rock record stores, and you know, the like, and heavy metal album covers. Like the Maiden album covers are fucking super awesome, man. Nothing like that ever. And they've got a brand that you know when you see that Iron Maiden font and you see fucking Eddie doing whatever the fuck he's doing, you know what that shit is. When people come to Godless, I want them to look at the fucking Scumbags logo and say, bam, I know what the fuck that is. Or look at, Rain Havoc's Femgore, which is a brand she created with the lollipop and the lips, which is fucking killer, dude. It pops out, it gets people's attention. Or the rated R Simon McHardy red band thing. Whenever you see that color that we are using as the main color theme for all his books in this series, you're gonna know it's Simon McHardy and he's got a new fucking book out. You know what I mean? You're drawn in. If you go to the site and it's in the features and you see that shit, you know it's Simon, man. I just did a logo too for Sweeney's 7-6 Sins. Shit like that, shit that pops out. I did one for Armandella's, which is the cover from his death metal book. And I think that if you go to the site and you see this, you'll know what I'm talking about. And you'll know how it relates to this kind of overall kind of conceit about design and skateboarding and making artistic decisions rather than just throwing some blood and shit on the cover, right? Making stuff that's eye-popping. It's much different world buying books digitally than being able to go into a bookstore, right? It's different. We need to take a different approach to fucking selling and getting people's attention. It's not, you walk into a bookstore, you pick up a book by an author you may or may not know, and you read the back and shit like that, and you've got it in your hand, so you know, okay, maybe I'll pick this up. It's got some good reviews. You know what I mean? But online, you're only kind of really served with the name and the cover. So if you've got something that's striking and just
Fuck, man.
it'll fucking blow people's minds, and they'll click on it. I promise you. I promise Sean Hawker that if you let me take a pass at that cover for Die You Fucking Cunt, fucking
Fuck, man.
that it was gonna do well. I knew it. I knew with what his original idea was. And I knew how to take it further. I did the same thing with Simon McHardy's Tasmanian series, right? He kind of sent me these images that he had, these illustrations for the covers from Moonface, Goblin Knob, Pitbull, etc. And I made them fucking gnarly and eye-popping. And I gave Simon a brand around that. And it's something you should just think about, man. And I'm not pressuring you into it. I'm just telling you that horror has fucking changed. It's changed. Some of that old shit's not gonna work anymore, man. Especially when you've got such a short amount of time to get people's attention. And that's what this is about, right? Getting people's attention so they'll read your books so you can build a fucking fan audience and then you can make money. I hate to be a dick. This is about money, man. Come up with a brand for yourself. It's not sellouty, it's fucking smart. I think the kind of rule of thumb that I've always had, and it was what I was telling Nikki Noir about, it's like, I'd wear this fucking logo on a t-shirt. And that's kind of like my rule of thumb, right? If I design a logo, or I design a brand, or I make a book cover, and I couldn't see it on a t-shirt, it's no fucking good to me. And that's fucking ridiculous, because merch should be the last thing you're thinking about when you're writing a fucking book. Anyway. I hope that this makes some sense, because I'm not telling you to create a YouTuber identity or any bullshit like that, dude. That's not what this is fucking about. This is about creating something that can help you grow your audience and make you easily recognizable to that audience and to other people and to stand out. Because just like I said, the covers that are standing out, especially fucking Mukbang Princess, dude, it's unexpected. It's unexpected. It's a pink cover. It's not horror. People get into it. They know fucking Rain. Her audience is growing. Think about that when you go into it. And also, don't really think about going into building a brand that's got like tits and fucking, intestines hanging out and shit like that. That ain't gonna do anybody any good. It's not gonna do you any good because you're not gonna be able to promote yourself anywhere. Think about it. The simpler and the more colorful and vibrant and eye-catching, the better. And I know that goes against every fucking rule of horror, but there aren't any fucking rules of horror anymore, man. This is the Wild West right now. What we're doing with Godless is the Wild fucking West, period. We can fucking make a thing for ourselves. We don't have to worry about that old ass shit, dude, that people seem to fucking hold on to so fucking dearly. Who gives a fuck anymore? Who gives a fuck about that shit? This is about making you money. That's what you need to be thinking about. And everyone, including me, man. Yeah, I want to fucking write for a living. Full time. Who fucking doesn't? You know what I mean? That's the author fucking dream. That's the publisher fucking dream. I want to publish fucking books, and I want to, expose and create names for and break these new fucking killer authors. I want to sign the next Eric LaRocca, right? That's fucking it. That's what you want to be. That's how you want to think. You want to think artistically. You have to think artistically about your title. And beyond writing it, man, you have to think about the presentation and how people are fucking perceiving it, because that will make them want more. They will want more of you. They will want more of your writing. They will be easily able to associate your brand and your name with titles in a certain type of horror, right? I mean, LaRocca now, I'm fucking all over that fucking dude. I'm gonna buy everything he's fucking got because I think he's fucking great. He's a great author and he's got a great fucking cover, right? It sounds so stupid. It sounds so fucking stupid. Don't judge a book by its cover. No shit, dude. We live in a different time. And we live in a different era for the horror industry. And we live in a different era for indie horror. You have to fucking grab people by the fucking nuts or the clit and fucking pull. You need to pull them into you. And you know what? They ain't ever gonna get to fucking read your writing if you got some whack ass fucking cover that is completely not relatable to them, right? Does that make sense? I know it's stupid. Call me a fucking sellout. I don't give a fuck, I do this because I fucking love it, man. I love the horror industry. I love what's happening in fucking horror, dude. It couldn't be more fucking exciting right now. Be a part of that, man. Quit living in the fucking past. That shit's over. That shit is fucking over, man. Get with what's going on now. Go to a fucking skate shop. Go to a fucking punk rock record store. Go anywhere. But don't necessarily go into a fucking bookstore because you don't want to be copying some old ass shit that no one wants to fucking buy anymore. You gotta think about fucking street art mentality and hype and hyping yourself and building yourself up and creating something that seems so fucking illogical to a writer. And I get that. It's fucking illogical and it's fucking dumb. But you know what? It sells fucking books. And that's why we're all here. And that's why Godless fucking exists. So we can give voices to people who do unique and different things. Albeit, sometimes it's fucking way over the top, dude, right? Some of that shit is gnarly as fuck. But you want to get people to come in the door. And you can only live off your friends buying your books for so fucking long. Create a brand for yourself. Think about what you're putting on your fucking cover. You know what I'm saying? That's word up.